What's up, everyone? Welcome to the 214th episode of the Pokemon Podcast. It's super effective. The premier podcast of Pocket
Arguably.
Monsters. That delightful voice you heard is... Wait, did I say I'm SBJ? I didn't say that. I'm your host, SBJ.
You were so rudely interrupted.
That's true. I was rudely interrupted by the one and only... the Travis W. Or just Travis.
Recently, you tweeted polling people how they listen to the show, what podcatcher they use to listen to the show. But the question was just worded, "How do you listen to the show?" So my answer to that is usually a week late.
Oh, mine was through my ears.
Very clever. The interesting thing about Twitter polls is you can only have 4 options.
Yeah, it's also annoying because TweetDeck doesn't read them, and that's what I use. So if I ever want to participate in those, it also isn't very clear that a poll is even attached to a given tweet, but whatever.
Yeah, Tweetbot's the same way.
Yeah, I asked the people who make Tweetbot because they're usually on top of the third-party Twitter apps, and they said that Twitter never gave anyone the API for polls, so they can't. I would assume that's for everyone, so they can't actually put it in their app until Twitter releases the API, and who knows if Twitter's ever going to do that. But iTunes won, by the way, with 76% of people saying they listen on iTunes, 12% on SoundCloud, 7% on Google Play Music, which is news in itself that we are on Google Play Music now, and then 5% on Stitcher Radio. And I forgot to introduce Will, but he is also here.
Do I have to roll a D20 for initiative in order for us to get more as popular as our founding program, Dungeons and Dragonites?
The DC is going to be pretty high, but yeah, you have to.
Ooh,
you might as well
I don't know what a DC is, but I gotta roll them bones. Got to get us up there because I'm not on Dungeons and Dragonites. So now I'm jealous.
You're jealous that you're not on?
And that it gets such good ratings. I need to be on the top-rated Pokemon podcast of the internet.
I mean, I guess. I know we don't
If Greg and I did not already have enough problems with his love of faulty Pokemon, it's just making it worse.
Okay.
I'm curious as to what your metric is for top rated, because certainly this show has more ratings than Dungeons and Dragonites. And
I thought in the rankings, on iTunes rankings, that Dungeons and Dragonites was ahead of It's Super Effective.
You might be right. I don't know. They're
in different categories for sure. It's Super Effective is in the video game category, and Dungeons and Dragonites is in the other games category with it's in other games because that's where all the other D&D and board game podcasts are. With that being said, the video game category is much more saturated and much more competitive, and I guess those are the two milestones that sometimes puts It Super Effective a little far back, but pretty much for all of 2016, It's Super Effective has been in the top 50 most downloaded in the video game section, if not higher than that, and Dungeons and Dragonites sits in the top 20 or 30 of the other games section of iTunes.
Where is Drive Check? Other games?
Drive Check would be other games because it is a card game. So most card games would be in that. And other games is way less competitive than video games. And obviously Drive Check wouldn't fall under video games.
That's in the top 10, right? Of other games?
I am unaware of the stats. I mean, I could pull them up for you, but
well, I can at least say this: we're the number one Card Fight Vanguard podcast that still puts out episodes.
In all fairness, I mean, you got to do what you have to do to make yourself feel important. The Wikipedia page for my hometown says Muskegon, Michigan is the biggest city on Lake Michigan's east coast. The amount of qualifiers that were needed to make that point are a lot, but I feel like it's that sort of qualifications you need to do to make yourself feel good. So whatever you need to do to really make Drive Check feel as important as it is, you just got to do it.
Yeah, that is kind of funny because my hometown in New York, they always advertise that their name used to be Saw Pit, because as if that town didn't have enough problems as it is, they want to advertise that they used to be a dump. No, Draft Check is awesome. We're the #1 Cardfight Vanguard podcast that is putting out episodes in 2016. How many qualifiers was that?
The #1 action comedy drama musical in America.
We're also that. We're fighting Hamilton for the for that space. Oh Lord.
I know we normally don't talk about Pokemon for the first couple minutes here, but
you're breaking the format.
I went to Six Flags yesterday. Great America.
Really?
Yeah.
What town is that in?
Gurnee, Illinois.
Ooh.
It is very close to a Steak and Shake, which I enjoy, and was the primary reason I agreed to go to Six Flags, because I am not a amusement park person.
I mean, you basically don't like fun things, mostly.
Correct. Yes. 100%. But I will say the amount of Pokemon knockoffs of like giant overstuffed Pokemon plushes were very rampant among.
They're not knockoffs. I mean, it's like it's not the high quality Pokemon Center plushes, but if I remember right, they are Pokemon plushes. It's not like a knockoff, but they're just not very high quality.
Yeah, I mean, Squirtle looked like he was having a bad day hanging up there.
Yeah.
But it was, I mean, not that I would have, I think it was always like $5 for one play or $10 for 3 plays or something ridiculous like that. But I was looking at all the other toys, and unless you were like a big fan of generic unicorns or a big fan of just a giant snake, the Pokemon.
Oh, I'm a big fan of a giant snake. Let's not get anybody about that. Give me the anacondas, whatever else other kind of snakes you can think of. I'm thrilled.
Boa constrictor?
Yeah.
Rattler?
No, rattlers are a little tiny.
Viper?
Are they? I thought they were like, I guess they are smaller than like
give me a cobra.
Regal.
Yes.
I guess, like, I don't know. Maybe it's because I like Pokemon, but like, why would you go for, the generic teddy bear when you can go for the, derpy looking Turtwig?
When I was there, the Pokemon plushes were pretty popular prizes. I mean, that was years ago when I was in high school and we went on a marching band trip. But
to the same Six Flags?
I don't know if it's the same one, but
I mean, what are there like 8 Six Flags in?
Or I guess it's Cedar Point that we would go to, and I get the two mixed up.
Yeah, I think that's in Ohio.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah, supposedly there's a Six Flags near DC, but everybody goes to Paramount's King's Dominion, so I don't even know where the Six Flags is around here.
I guess I was more shocked that like there were no like Minion prizes or no Angry Birds prizes or anything like that. Like, as for like, of course, there's your Looney Tunes prizes, because I think Six Flags has some deal with the Looney Tunes, and then there's your Batman, Spider-Man, Superman plushes, because almost all the rides are superhero theme. And Pokemon was like the one weird like, here is another franchise that just happens to be prizes, but we have no rides or anything else based off it. But here's an obvious franchise that you can win, which was confusing but also cool that like it's so clearly popular enough as a prize that many booths still had, like, in every, because Six Flags is broken into sections, like here's your Western section and here's your future section and here's your kids section. Like every section had, if not one but 2 booths where you can win Pokemon stuff.
Yeah.
Well, people still have those fond Pokemon memories.
But it's not. But that's the thing, is that it's not just. You'd think it would be, it's just playing off Gen 1 nostalgia. But at least at Cedar Point when I was there, and this was years ago, I think I got a Piplup. So it's not your entry level stuff.
Well, Piplup was somebody's entry level.
True.
Yeah, there was, besides a giant Pikachu, Charmander, Squirtle, Bulbasaur, there was giant Piplup and giant Turtwig, and I think those were the only 2
Chimchar didn't make the cut.
I don't
I was
think
just gonna say the same thing.
I don't think Chimchar
Wow.
made the cut at all. No, not that I saw at least. And I was trying to be observant because I skipped out on a lot of rides that my mom and Irene went on.
Oh, did you go with your family?
Just my mom and Irene and my sister.
No, he went alone.
I went.
Well, no, but I mean, like, did his brother go? Did any of his sisters go?
We met one of my sisters and her friend down there, and we
Was
went
that
on
in
like
quotes?
no, like her friend. There's no quotes needed. And we went on like a ride or two with them and just hung out, and then they left early because they had other plans. That's why they got there so early. But yeah, my mom really wanted to go, and then Irene wanted to go, and then Irene was like, "I really want you to go," and I was like, "Ugh, I don't like this stuff," but I went.
Just an exacerbated sigh.
Yeah, basically.
I'm sorry, Steve. You're a lot of fun to hang out with.
All right, that's fair. That's fair. What about you, Travis? What was on your plate this past weekend?
I hate to bring things full circle, but we were just talking about Dungeons and Dragonites, and I actually played D&D within the campaign I'm running with my friends. So I played D&D again on Friday, and I'm going to play D&D again tomorrow. So my life has been pretty D20 centric, but
you're down with that though. That's like
yeah, I love D&D.
like your destiny of tabletop.
Dungeons and Dragons. It's like Destiny, but actually fun.
Do they still make the Marvel Comics role-playing game that was like D&D, except you could be like mutants and stuff?
I don't know about that one in particular.
Oh.
But I mean, there are plenty of superhero games, and I wouldn't be surprised if some of them are Marvel, but I don't specifically know any information about that one. I've never played any of the superhero RPGs. It doesn't really interest me that much, so I'm not really an expert there.
See, because for the next season, instead of doing Dungeons and Dragonites, you could do a superhero role-playing game with Pokemon in there.
But what do we call it though? It has to be a pun. You can't do it.
Pokemon superhero game?
Clever. Nice one.
It rolls right off the tongue there. Travis, have you played a D&D game that has just gone terrible?
Yeah. I mean, well,
I'm just asking because you're up to like 3 a week now, so clearly you enjoy it a lot. It's something that seems like top priority of fun for you. But then, at least with me in board games, there's sometimes where you play a board game and like the experience is just so sour that you're like, I don't want to. I think I'm gonna let that board game sit on the shelf.
well, then in that, I've had individual sessions of campaigns that as a whole have gone well, where I'm like, that wasn't a lot of fun. Like I've had instances with when I was in college, in the group I played in, there would be sessions where people would be mad at each other just because of general college friend group drama things, and then would try to steal from each other or whatever in game. And that was just sort of a bad scene, but it would never really last so long that it would feel like the game was the problem more than the people. So we would get back together next week, and whatever it was that was bothering people in real life would have gone away, and so the next session would have been fine. So no, I've never had like a full campaign go super south, mostly because I only play with my friends. I'm sure if I went to one of those places where you go to like a trading card store and they have like a D&D night and I'm playing with strangers, that could go pretty bad. But I've never.
I can imagine that conversation. Well, my DM makes us do a roll for intelligence before we have to do a roll for initiative, just to see if we had better sensations. So I don't understand why we're playing this way.
I earned this magical item that gets me a natural 20 on every roll I do. I mean, just because you weren't there for that campaign doesn't mean you get to say what my character does and doesn't have. Thank you, I earned this.
Eesh.
No, I've never had that.
I get confused easily. Are we still on It's Super Effective, or are we doing Tuesday Night Podcast now?
Little column A.
We talked about Pokemon too early, so we needed to double back.
Oh.
I don't have any good transitions of what we were last talking about, so let's just move into some news.
Wait, I don't get to talk about my weekend?
No, you pimped Drive Check.
But I got to hang out with somebody, the only person I've ever met whose first and last name are both Pokemon.
All right, let's hear it.
What?
Yeah.
Jinx Magby, my great friend Jinx Magby.
No, his name is Aaron Weasel, except it's not Weasel, it's Buzzell. But still, his first name is spelled just like Aaron, the little iron Pokemon dude. He's one of our listeners who came to visit DC, and I got to hang out, and that was cool, and we had a lot of good times. So, fine, go with your news.
Wait, just to hang out in DC by himself? Like how I went to an amusement park by myself?
No, he came for a conference, and the conference happened to be in DC.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, then I guess we move into news.
He went to see the real Great America in our nation's capital, Washington,
Actually,
D.C.
what makes me sad, and as a throwback to earlier in this episode, he went to see somebody who does another podcast. And I was like, oh, you came to see your favorite podcaster, Will Anderson. And he's like, well, I came to see one of my favorite podcasters.
Sick burn.
Harsh. Ooh, that's all right.
First bit of news, probably not relevant anymore. But today, being April 24th, is the last day you can download Jirachi.
Moment of silence for our lost Jirachi.
I'm going to be distracted for a moment while I'm downloading Jirachi because I forgot to do that. Oops.
I don't know what the strict cutoff is because it doesn't actually say what time, April 24th, or I've seen Pokemon last a full 24 hours before the ending date. So if you are listening to this and you haven't, you might as well give it a shot. It does work for Pokemon X, Pokemon Y, and both Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. If you did get Jirachi or you didn't get Jirachi and you're crying right now, it is a Steel Psychic type Pokemon with the ability Serene Grace, and it knows Wish, Confusion, and Rest, and it does come to you at level 100. And that's over the Nintendo Network, by the way. It's not a GameStop Pokemon. And for next month, we have Darkrai.
Oh, really? They're doing a Darkrai distribution?
Yeah, that will start on May 1st through the 24th. That Darkrai will be level 100. It is a Dark-type Pokemon. Shocking, I know. Has the ability Bad Dreams.
The Cry Pokemon.
The ability Bad Dreams. The moves Dark Void, Ominous Wind, Nightmare, and Faint Attack. This will be available at GameStop. And if you are in Canada, you have to visit EB Games. But that is available for Pokemon X, Y, Omega Ruby, and Alpha Sapphire.
What if I'm in Europe?
Does not state the Europe.
Probably game.
Probably game, yeah.
They can't afford to stop. They just game.
Just game. We recently watched the Darkrai movie just a couple of days ago for movie night, but we'll talk about that a little later here. Let's just get through some news. Pokemon Symphonic Evolutions is going to perform in Paris, which is in France.
Ooh, fancy.
On October of 2016. More specifically, October 7th and October 8th at the Grand Rex Cinema.
That doesn't sound very French.
The Grand Rex Cinema.
Yes.
There you go. Perfect.
I don't know a lick of French. That's probably the worst pronunciation possible.
I think that sounds almost okay. Just Rex is not a very French word. Is it really like REX?
REX, yes.
The Big King movie place.
If you're in South Korea, I actually don't know how many listeners we have in South Korea. I know we have a couple, but
I wish I was in South Korea. I love Korean food.
Shiny Mewtwo is going to be distributed in South Korea as a part of the Pokemon WCS. I'm not sure what that stands for. 2016
World Championship Series. I don't actually know.
That might be right.
I was gonna guess the same thing.
National qualifier.
Is Worlds going to be in Korea?
No, it's in San Francisco.
All right. Well,
I mean, it says national qualifiers for I'm assuming you're right in that it's World Championship Series or something to do with World Championship Squirtles. Shiny Mewtwo to be distributed in South Korea from May 5th to May 8th at the Hangoyo Hyundai department store. Nothing?
Yeah, I mean, usually we make fun of your pronunciation of things, but gosh, I don't speak Korean.
But I watched a lot of Korean soap operas, and that wasn't too bad. Maybe you actually we're supposed to be Korean and speak Korean.
The one
and
language
whole,
that speaks to me is South Korean.
I mean, maybe you should study some Hangul and because Korean food is the best.
I don't think I've ever had Korean food.
No, you'd hate it. Really.
It's a thing that's good, so you probably wouldn't like it.
You might like Korean short ribs the way my mom makes them.
I'm not really a rib kind of guy.
No, short ribs aren't ribs. It's more like little steaks.
Little doggies?
No, not like hot dogs, like little steaks.
I love hot dogs.
Yeah.
The shiny Mewtwo.
Yeah, kimchi, I don't think that you could
Our
handle.
show's host, Sonic the Hedgehog.
The shiny Mewtwo will be level 100 and have the ability Unnerve. It will have a Mewtwo Knight Y and know the moves Psy Strike, Psychic, Recover, and Aura Sphere. The shiny Mewtwo will be distributed via infrared for Pokemon X, Pokemon Y, Omega Ruby, and there's a pattern here, and Alpha Sapphire. So there you go. Shiny Mewtwo for Korea. South Korea, to be specific. New Pokemon Go details and images emerge. This is from comicbook.com. We're only pulling the best websites here for news.
I mean, we could go worse. Travis and I were talking about much worse. So we could go worse.
We should pull up that article in a little bit just to really dive deep into the rumor mill.
Now, most of the stuff comes from a subreddit that is dedicated to Pokemon Go. Take it with a grain of salt here. But we do know that there are beta testers in Japan already, so most of this probably has some weight. As beta test continues on Pokemon Go, the augmented reality mobile game that allows you to capture and battle Pokemon in the real world. More details about the game are continuing to emerge. Recent beta testers confirmed to the subreddit dedicated to Pokemon Go that biomes were now active, meaning a certain type of Pokemon would only appear in certain type of terrain and conditions. For example, a water-type Pokemon are found near a river, while normal type Pokemon like Rattata were seen in dense urban centers. It is also recently confirmed that trainers can only evolve their Pokemon via evolution shards. The trainers collect the shards by capturing Pokemon. Evolution shards are Pokemon specific, which means you need to capture multiple Pokemon of the same species to collect enough shards. Once 20 shards are collected, trainers can select one Pokemon of that species to evolve. Pokemon that evolve twice, like Bulbasaur, trainers will need to evolve 10 Pokemon to the first stage to evolve the Pokemon to the second stage. Some new screen caps from the game also emerge, showing Pokemon Go's Pokedex and battle sequence. You can check out the full gallery below. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. So really the takeaway here and why I pulled this article is because of the battle shard information, and I wanted to know what your guys' thoughts on that were.
I find it interesting that although they have a battle system, that is not the way in which you evolve Pokemon. I find that to be strange. I realize that the system they're using might be better suited for that type of game, but it just seems a little odd to be using so many of the conventions of the property, but not that one.
Well, I'm happy that there is evolving in any form as part of the game, because I really hate Pokemon games where there's no evolving.
What about Shuffle?
And I really hate Pokemon games. Dude, I play 3 Pokemon games every single day that don't have evolving, so my hate is a very gentle hatred. But still, I would prefer that they had an evolution mechanic versus just having different levels.
The debut album by Will Anderson, My Hate is a Gentle Hatred.
I don't know the exact reason why there would be a shard system instead of a battle system. Besides maybe the obvious reason of they don't want the two games to be so similar to that. Two games meaning the Pokemon Go and Pokemon main series game. But you see the collecting of the same thing a lot to upgrade something fairly common in mobile games.
Yeah, because then you can say if you want to evolve your evolve into Blastoise faster, we'll sell you 5 shards for $1, right?
Each.
And you can then you can accelerate the process by
1
spending
shard,
money.
1 USD.
But yeah,
I can't wait for Pokemon Global Offensive. I just realized that that's a joke you can make, and I'm really proud of it.
I was gonna say that in Clash Royale,
Oh God!
you have to collect X amount of a card to upgrade your current card, and you could, buy a chest which gives you a bunch of cards, which you hope that is the card you want, so you can spend the gold. I mean, to me, besides this being in a lot of mobile games on the market, and it's very popular and it's very easy for people to understand, that it's also very easy to, what you guys said, hide and control microtransactions, as in maybe not so much getting shards, but getting maybe more Pokeballs to catch. So if you have a limit of maybe 5 Pokeballs a day, and I don't know if this is true or not, it's just me talking. If you have a limit of 5 Pokeballs a day and you need 10 Squirtles to evolve your Squirtle, that's going to take you 2 days.
By our powers combined, we are War Turtle.
That's going to take you 2 days. But if you buy, 20 Pokeballs for 99 cents, well, you've accelerated that process in a way, and you've spent money. Whereas if you could just battle and that was something normal you could do, you could just grind that out. In this way, you can't grind it out because you're limited by the resources you have. If they put a cap on battles, that would be very weird. Whereas if they're just putting a cap on how many free Pokeballs you get, that makes more sense, at least in gameplay aspect and in a let's make money aspect.
I mean, I'm not going to disagree.
Yeah, really, the only way to know is wait and see.
Sounds like Travis is far away from his mic making a sandwich going, yeah, that sounds right to me. It's like butter in some bread.
I think that Vulpix looks real cute.
Last bit of news here is the Pokemon TV app has been updated with the X, Y, and Z anime. I don't know if Will had anything to comment right away, but
I probably did, but I was had a huge yawn coming out of me, so I was on mute.
Wasn't sure if you were still laughing at my peanut butter joke here. Let me just run down the bullet points before we get your 2 cents here. My channel. Okay, the app updates includes my channel, where fans start watching a video. It is automatically saved to their channel, making it easy to resume later. Downloadable content. Fans without the network can still access and enjoy their favorite Pokemon content with the updated app. Viewers can mark one episode or movie for offline viewing convenience. The video will be stored on their device for 1 week before it's automatically removed. That's actually really, really cool. If you're going on a plane, you could download a movie, Pokemon movie, and then watch it, and then be disappointed. Other 2 features are rate videos. With this fun feature, Pokemon fans can rate each video after they finish watching it. Their stores contribute on an average rating for the video. I'd be curious to see what is actually liked and not liked. And then push notifications, because we all love that. Viewers can now find out when new movies and episodes have been added to the Pokemon TV app with convenient push notifications. And then the Pokemon series XYZ, the newest season of the Pokemon animation, debuted in February. New episodes can be viewed all year long on the Pokemon TV app shortly after they are aired every Saturday morning on Cartoon Network. Pokemon Podcast, not sponsored by Cartoon Network.
Yes. That's pretty sweet because that means that they're moving out of the Hulu and Netflix markets and kind of becoming their own. Now, I hope they don't start making the app paid for.
I mean, I said this earlier on a podcast before. I would have no problem paying Pokemon $4.99 a month for all the movies and all the TV shows.
I would go $2.73.
That's specific.
Well, I'm a very exacting science. Economics is real, man. That's where my supply meets demand, right there. $2.73. But
I'd go $1 a month, considering the fact that they're willing to go. It's like $5 a year for Pokemon Bank. Like if they're already setting the bar there, I don't see why the show would be too different of a price.
Well, because it's actual dynamic content that's made by lots of people over many years in time with
And the
production.
video games aren't.
The video
I guess
games
you don't
are
get
not
access to
$5
the
a
video
year.
game like Pokemon. That's a good point.
No. I've had a couple of people ask me, like, now that XYZ is on the Pokemon app, should they, like, where should they start in watching the cartoon? And I'm like, you can start from the first XY season and it's worth it. And I've actually also had a couple of people, like, after I've told them that, they're like, oh my God, this is so incredible and so different than the old Pokemon cartoons that it's like, it really is worth watching.
XYZ is a restart though, right, Will? Like
No,
Pikachu probably. It's a continuation?
It's a continuation from X and Y.
Okay. But you could just start off with that season and be all right.
No, because it's a merge of X and Y and the Mega Evolution specials. So I actually recommend that people watch both so that you're really ready for, like, the parts that are going to come in from the Mega Evolution specials and the parts that come in from X and Y.
Is the Mega... I'm sorry, I obviously didn't check. The question just came to mind, but is the Mega Evolution special something that you can see on the Pokemon TV app? Where does that exist?
I don't... Internet?
In the
I
hearts
don't know.
and minds of the fans of Pokemon.
Heart of the cards.
What does the internet tell you? Pokemon Mega
Catch 'em all.
FO. I'm trying to type very quietly.
Is Ash and Red the same person?
Oh man, that's...
Why is Ash still 10? Coma Dream Theory.
Gary shipping.
Gary shipping. Oh man, that's fan service right there.
It's called pallet shipping specifically.
I'm on top of the Gary community of ship and to be. I don't know where I was going.
But what even in this hypothetical, with whom are you shipping Gary? Because the term Gary shipping would just imply, like, I mean, you're hoping Gary gets in a relationship.
I mean, I'd ship Gary with the world.
Friend zone shipping.
So the fact that Will still hasn't figured out where to watch the Mega Evolution special worries me that it's not as easy to find.
I'm just not very good at the internet, and I didn't say my chant, so it's not giving me the answers I need. Wait, English dubbed on Daily Motion? What is Daily Motion?
Daily Motion is like where people put videos that get banned from YouTube quickly.
So there's a lot of places like that.
Perfect.
It's on YouTube. It's on
I'm sure this link from gogoanime.io is not sketchy at all. I'm sure that's not a legal gray area, black area.
You can find it on the YouTube,
right.
a dub. Although I think it's a fan dub. I
will leave this news article here just for everyone who may be curious now that the most recent anime is on the Pokemon TV app. The Pokemon TV app is available on iPhone, iPad, Kindle Fire, Android devices,
and wherever Pokemon are sold.
I believe it carrying the Kindle Fire / Amazon. I think there is a specific app for like Fire TV and the Fire TV Stick. I do not know if there is an Apple TV app. And as for, I don't know any Google. I know Chromecast or Google Cast, I think they call it now. You can it works with that too.
Wait, I figured something out. Everybody, be quiet for a minute and listen really hard after I say this sentence, and we'll get our answer. Okay, ready?
Mm-hmm.
Alexa, where can I see the Mega Evolution special Pokemon? Oh, I mean, I don't have an Alexa.
I mean, you probably turned on like 3 people's Alexas that listen to this show.
Yes.
I don't know what Alexa is.
What?
It's like Amazon. It's like Amazon's Siri.
Except it hangs out in your house, and you just talk to your house.
Except
and you ask
now,
it questions.
like people are driving, and I can go like, "Hey Siri, what's the weather?" And now that's going to activate in like everyone's car right now.
Wait, so it's like for your home though?
Yeah. It's like it looks like 2 soup cans stacked on top of each other, and it's the bottom half is the speaker and the top half is a volume control and a microphone. And then so I'm going to activate everyone's Alexa by going, Alexa, what's the weather? And now when somebody's listening to this podcast, their Alexa is going to light up blue and it's going to go, the weather in Milwaukee is currently 45 degrees. Partly that's kind of what the weather is right now here.
Strangely, everyone's Alexa knows just by Steve's tone of voice. I mean, it knows it's Steve, so it only gives the Milwaukee weather when he asks for it.
I mean, I could go,
Alexa, when is the heat death of the universe?
You'll be real sad when she gives you an answer.
Yeah.
Alexa, what's the weather in Milwaukee? We're making a lot of people mad right now, I bet.
What if
We're making a lot of Alexas very confused by interrupting it over and over again.
Okay, Google.
What if they actually stop?
Xbox, turn off.
No, what if they actually listen to
Xbox,
the podcast
quit
on
without
Alexa?
saving.
No, my Xbox doesn't talk to me. My PS4 does, though.
I mean, I've listened to podcasts that have like talked in depth about Alexa, and I definitely had to turn my Alexa off because every time they said Alexa, it would like light up blue and start listening.
Is it really that sensitivo?
Yeah, it's really it knows its name really well. It's super impressive.
Alexa, please order Will Anderson cards, fight
My
Vanguard
social
cards.
security number is
No, wait, I need these really expensive Vanguard cards. Hold on. Alexa, please order Genesis Dragon Amnesty Messiah. Send to Will Anderson's house.
No, you have to go like, Alexa, add Pokemon Omega Ruby to my wish list. There, and now that's been added to everyone's Amazon
Alexa,
wish.
give It's Super Effective a 5-star review in iTunes reading, gosh, this show is just so great.
All right, we need to take a break and reset expectations of all the people that are extremely mad that we've ruined their Alexa experience. We'll be right back. And we are back from our break. There was a recent movie night. Was it Friday? Yeah, it was Friday.
Yeah, it was Friday.
It was
There
Friday.
has been a movie night. Have you felt it? There's been an awakening.
We ended up watching Darkrai. The Rise of Darkrai, I believe the movie is actually called.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to give you the 20-second recap here. That movie has a lot of fantastic moments. A lot of funny things happen. A lot of memorable things happen. But after the hour and 20 minutes, I don't know what I watched. I don't know what really happened. And part of that was because my attention was not fully devoted to the movie, as we were having technical issues.
How dare you?
We were having technical issues with Rabbit, the service we used. And I have to give a shout out to the support team at Rabbit, as they made sure that even though the technical issues existed, that the movie and the chat remained going the entire time.
I enjoy your phrasing of that. While the technical team made sure that the problems existed and continued to disrupt our viewing.
So one of the problems, so rooms were supposed to cap at 25. Our room capped at 16 for some odd reason, so we couldn't get more people in, which was a bummer. At one point, the chat broke on my computer because I tried to leave and restart the room without interrupting the movie, and that was its own other problem. But I don't really understand. So, spoiler if you haven't seen the movie, just like in Arceus and the Jewel of Life, they pitch Arceus as a bad guy, but in reality, he's a good guy. The same can be said about Darkrai. They pitch him as a bad guy at the end. You know, Ash cries because he thinks Darkrai is dead, and Darkrai is Darkrai is still alive, so they're very happy. Obviously, Darkrai was not the bad guy, but Palkia and Dialga are fighting for some reason, and the heroes are climbing a tower at the end. And if they don't do something at the top of the tower, the world explodes or gets destroyed. And at some point, they run out of time, and Brock goes, "They didn't make it." But a minute later, it's okay because Pikachu did some electric thing and charged the tower, and that was fine. But backing up,
I remember that.
As everyone's climbing the tower, I asked chat, I said, "Who is the actual bad guy?" And I got the tower. I got the environment. I got all these answers, but I didn't get Darkrai, and I didn't get any Pokemon. I just got everything but those 3 Pokemon. So I don't know who the bad guy actually was.
Oh, I can tell you. I know who the bad guy is in that movie. The guy who switches places with his licky tongue.
Yeah.
The Baron?
Or licky licky, whatever.
It's a licky
I don't know.
licky.
Yeah, it's just a bad scene generally. Isn't it a shiny licky too?
I don't remember, but actually...
No, I don't think it is, actually.
Now that you're saying that, he doesn't switch places with Licky Licky. He just turns into a Licky Licky. And his Licky Licky is just like laying there dead the entire time.
What?
Yeah, because
I
mean, I think at one point the Licky Licky comes back because he doesn't stay Licky Licky very long, which again was another misconception I had because I thought he switched places with Licky Licky, but he just turns into a Licky Licky, and I thought it lasted a lot longer than it did, and it didn't. But to compare the movie to Arceus and the Jewel of Life, Arceus and the Jewel of Life is just a better movie. The story makes sense. The story's good. I think the twist is actually pretty clever. And Arceus and the Jewel of Life doesn't really focus on Ash and the other companions. It mostly focuses on the story of Arceus. I would have to say that's probably currently the best Pokemon movie I have seen to date. Darkrai, The Rise of Darkrai.
If you watch the extended director's final cut, that's Ridley Scott's real vision.
No, you have to watch the Shaman movie because I think that clears everything up. Kind of like how The Godfather Part 2, made everything about Godfather Part 1 so much clearer than the Shaman Giratina movie just clears everything up. Because really what it is, it's just like destruction of the environment, and Dialga, Palkia, and Giratina are all supposed to work together to keep balance in the universe and the netherworld or whatever Giratina's negative land is called.
Negative zone, isn't it the negative zone?
I think so.
Or no, that's a thing from Marvel. The something dimension. What is it called?
Alexa, where does Giratina live? Oh, I still don't have an Alexa. But anyways, it's like in the Shaman movie, you see that like when there's disruptions in our
distortion world.
Yep, that's it.
It sends like pollution into Giratina's world, and then Giratina has to clean that up. And then it's kind of like the battle between Dialga and Palkia is causing more disruptions, and it's potential that the two worlds can unravel, both of them. So, this is very important.
So the stakes are high.
Yes.
Justice was served. So
it was delicious.
I want to thank everyone who came out to movie night. I think everyone had a really good time, so much that they demanded another movie, and I didn't want to bite off more than I can chew, especially since we only have 19 Pokemon movies to choose from. So we ended up watching Pokemon Origins just to cap off the night, and it was very, very enjoyable. So I will post the next movie night coming up. We'll probably do the Giratina movie just to finish off that series. And then if we do end up finishing all the movies, if movie night continues being a success, we'll probably go back through and start watching them again for those, obviously, who couldn't make it to the first viewings. You heard it here first. Arceus and the Jewel of Life. My number one Pokemon movie right now.
We have to do the Shaman one next because that's the one Will says is good.
No,
I actually have to be there this time.
It's no good, but it may be explained. I mean, Shaman's a terrible Pokemon. Ugh.
You don't like Shaman?
No.
I like Shaman.
Just like, well, maybe after you watch the movie, you won't like it so much.
So why is that the best one to watch?
Darkrai has a real good voice, by the way.
All I'm saying is that it explains everything. I didn't say it's a good movie. It's just exposition.
Real quick, Will, what's your favorite Pokemon movie?
The Celebi one?
Oh my god. I can't trust your judgment. The movie's terrible. Travis, what's your favorite Pokemon movie?
Oh no, Zoroark. Come on, you know Zoroark is my favorite Pokemon movie.
All right, I have not seen that one, so I'll hold.
I know my
that.
least favorite one is the Lucario one, but I can't tell you what my favorite one is. I can't really pin it down.
Lucario one's pretty
I like
bad.
when Entei was a dad that one time. That was weird.
That's the third movie, I think.
It is. It's Pokemon, the movie 2000, right? Isn't that, or is that the second one?
No, that's the second one. I think it's called Pokemon 3, the movie.
Yeah, it is.
It's a real good title there.
That was the last one that was
though.
in theaters, right?
Yeah.
There's no way Pokemon Heroes was in theaters.
The Celebi movie might be the last one in theaters, but it might have been a limited.
No. I saw Victini and Reshiram in the theater.
Yeah.
That's true.
That was a one-off, but that was also like limited. Like all of Wisconsin, it was only one theater for. I'm for worldwide, like, or United States wide. I think the Entei movie was the last one for like every theater. I remember riding my bike to the theater when I was like 11 or 12, watching that movie. Doesn't hold up. Let's do a couple emails before we do our Pokemon of the week, just because we have a lot coming in. And so if you want to add to our stockpile of emails, when I say there's a lot coming in, don't think that's negative. I truly enjoy and love reading your guys' emails, and they make me really happy to read them on the show. So if you want to email, you can go to PokemonPodcast.com and hit the contact button, fill out the form there, or you can just email me directly, sbj@pkmncast.com. Both ways gets emails to me. First email here is from Michael V. He writes in saying, for Pokemon Sun and Moon, should I buy a regular 3DS or a new 3DS because I sold my 3DS and now I need one for Pokemon Sun or Moon? Thanks for your opinion. Keep up the good work. Good question.
Well, a new 3DS is not going to be required, but Monster Hunter Generations is coming out.
Is that required for the new 3DS? I don't think so either.
Maybe not, but I mean, it helped with Monster Hunter on its own. I'm sure it'll help with Monster Hunter Generations.
I have never bought any of those little upgrade systems ever, and it's always been fine for me.
Yeah. If anyone was going to use the extra features of the new 3DS, it would be a Pokemon game, no doubt. Because they were the few games that used the DSi features. And obviously, they used the Game Boy Color features back when the Game Boy Color was the minor upgrade, even though at the time that was such a big deal. I think if you can budget it, then you're not wasting money buying the new 3DS. But if you're on a budget, if you're really trying to save money, the normal 3DS will be fine.
Yes, and Pokemon is never like a new system or a new platform seller. Like they are always, they hold out on the previous platform all the way to the bitter end. But they do things like with Black and White 2, there were add-ons that worked with the 3DS that were not required to play the game. It's just you could get like special Pokemon and legendary Pokemon and stuff if you did it that could transfer into your game. So that kind of took advantage of the 3DS features, but 3DS was not required for Black and White 2. X and Y was the first game that required the 3DS, which was 3 years after the 3DS had come out already. Yeah, Pokemon always holds on to the previous generation hardware until the very, very last that it can.
Carter S. writes in, hey, SBJ, Will, Travis, and the rest, and whoever else I missed. And then in parentheses, sorry, Logan, you are awesome. I've been listening to Pokemon Podcast for over 4 years now, and I love every episode. From Peanut Butter Badoofs to Wop Zip to Will's...
Wop Zip!
to Will's Yeah.
Yeah.
I've stuck with you guys the whole time, and I have never bothered listening to another single Pokemon podcast on iTunes. I first discovered you guys on iTunes... brands here. I first discovered you guys not on iTunes, but on Amazon, actually. I was one of the few people that subscribed to the $1 a month Kindle feed of your website's news. From there, I learned about the podcast, and I've been hooked ever since. You guys make me laugh numerous times, and Travis is my favorite co-host.
Woo!
A funny
Hey!
A funny story, I'm not really on social media, so I've never seen a picture of any of the host's face besides Steve's.
Well, my Twitter picture is just a weird birdhouse anyway, so you're not really missing it there.
So I'm
kind of close to.
I have been building up a mental image of Travis in my head until the episode where you talked.
I'm sorry to disappoint.
In the episode where you talked about 3D movies, Travis said that he wore glasses. I was stunned, for real. Anyways, keep up the great work. I can't wait to hear your next episode. Carter from Ohio. P.S. SBJ, my first shiny was a gold duck.
So I think one of the most confusing things for me about Travis's appearance is when I first met him, he had short hair, and now he just has like tremendous, copious amounts of lengthy hair all around his
amounts
head.
Of hair.
Tropious amounts of lengthy hair, like just like he's gone full hippie.
Yeah, I have, and it feels good.
I can relate to this email a lot, and thank you, Carter, for writing in. But when I listen to quite a bit of podcasts, and I always try to form an image of the said voices I hear, and then when I do finally like reach out and discover what they look like,
it's always disappointing.
Oh no, I know. I had that happen with Jesse Thorne. I like had this image in my head that he was like super sartorial and well coiffed and everything. And then you see a picture of him and he looks like somebody who's going to punch you outside of a biker bar. Like his voice goes nothing with his appearance.
I think Jesse Thorne is a handsome gentleman, albeit different than you would expect him to be just hearing his voice.
Handsome, but different.
I would say sometimes the appearance is not what I expect, but for the most time it holds up, and it kind of gives you a better, I don't know, connection to the host that you know what they look like. And usually if I go out and I see what they look like, I probably like the show quite a bit to figure that out. Whereas if there's some podcasts where I don't ever go to their website, I don't ever follow their Twitter, I don't ever review them. Like I just listen and then, kind of hope for the best. But there are a couple podcasts where like I follow everyone on the podcast on Twitter. I follow the podcast. I like their Facebook. I go to their and everyone listening is like, well, I don't do that at all for It's Super Effective.
So I guess the question we have to ask is, Alexa, who are America's most handsome podcasters?
Alexa, who is America's next top model?
Downhill. Todd writes in, Todd R. Hey, SBJ, relatively new listener here. I'm 29 and just got back into Pokemon and found your podcast. ISA has everything I wanted. Oh, probably It's Super Effective, but I got it.
No, he's got us confused with It's Super Affective about... just presences that you would put on yourself to deter.
Yeah.
to confuse people about how you're actually feeling.
It's Super Effective is everything I wanted. Just want to let you know. Just wanted to let you guys know you do an awesome job. Thanks.
Oh, I appreciate that.
I'm gonna butcher this name. I'm gonna spell it out for you guys. Maybe you can help me before I butcher it. SCHUYLER.
Wait, that's your brother's name.
But there's a U in there.
And a CH.
And a CH.
It's still Skylar.
It's still Skylar? I've never seen Skylar spelled like that. I've seen Skylar spelled SKYLER.
Yeah, but Travis, you know the Schuylkill River by Philadelphia.
Nope.
Don't you know geographies?
No.
Well, that's why we have you on. You're so much older and have more
not
wisdom.
that much older than you, sir. Yes.
I don't need to know that book learning geography.
SCHUY is pronounced sky.
I've never seen that spelled. That's cool. That's very cool. Hi, SBJ. I've been I have become a big fan of the show in the past few weeks. My first podcast was actually the Dungeons and Dragonites podcast, and I've been listening weekly since. This podcast has gotten me interested in Dungeons and Dragonites, and I've gotten a few of my friends interested. So we are learning to play. I thought I heard Greg said that there was something about a posting of his Dungeon Master notes online. I have not been able to find them, and I was wondering if you would be able to send me a PDF or a Word document, or just make the link available on the internet. If you could, that would be great. Thank you for your amazing podcast. I hope to hear from you. Thanks, Skylar. Yes, we are. What did we just finish, Travis? Episode 7? Episode 8?
6?
I think 7 is right.
I think 7 is right. So we're still estimating 12 episodes. With that being said, I have most of the files, but not all of the files. But I do plan on putting them all on PokemonPodcast.com, as well as sending them directly to Patreon backers. Yeah, just keep your eyes peeled for that. I think a lot now that we're so far into the campaign, I think everything's kind of ironed out for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Like, especially with my character, which was a little more custom, things weren't really ironed out till like episode 3 and 4 with moves and stuff. So yeah, just keep your eyes posted. But yes, a lot of people have been asking for those, and we do plan on providing all that stuff to you guys for free online on the internets.
So that trademark soon TM.
Caleb writes in here, "Hey SBJ, Will, Travis, Logan, Micah, and many other people that I've missed. I started listening to the podcast just before 199 after looking for a podcast that was talking about Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon. I wanted to hear others' thoughts, and I've been a faithful listener since. As a big fan of Pokemon..."
As opposed to all the heretical listeners that don't think that I'm the best co-host.
As a big fan of Pokemon Pokemon Mystery Dungeon series, as well as the Pokemon Ranger series, I've played Explorers of the Sky, Super Mystery Dungeon, Shadows of Almia, all of which I've enjoyed. I'd like to hear what you guys would like to see in the series if another one was to be released. I know that Travis likes Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, and I know Will likes Pokemon Ranger. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. I also encourage Travis to struggle through the beginning of Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon. I consider the entire time I spent playing that game was worth it, even the beginning. And then, by the way, I really recommend Pokemon Mystery Dungeon series to everyone listening. I know roguelikes and story games aren't loved by everyone, but I think everyone should give it a try. If you tried Gates to Infinity and didn't like it, play one of the others. By now, I've probably taken up a good chunk of the episode. You are welcome, so I'll close this email. Keep up the good work. You guys are awesome. And then puts a Minecraft Master is, I believe that's his Slack name. I believe this is one of our Slack listeners.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Maybe I will give Super Mystery Dungeon another try once I get some time on my hands. Work's slowing down a little bit, so I might be able to. If I were to pick something to add to Super Mystery Dungeon, or something I would like to see in a future installment, I don't know. It's never been like this, the specific, because Mystery Dungeon 2 is my favorite of those, and it was never that it was a specific mechanic that really made me love that game as much as it was that was the first time, other than the show, I guess, it was the first time that a piece of Pokemon media made a Pokemon really feel like a character with a personality. And I realize that's partly due to because the fact that these Pokemon talk, but I was just sort of blown away by the fact that it made me care about the characters in a Pokemon game. So I can't really pinpoint one thing that I would like to see, because it's not necessarily the fact that the game is a roguelike that makes me like it as much as the fact that I just thought the storytelling was really good. So it's hard for me to pinpoint one mechanic, but as long as those games continue to be story focused, I'll continue to be interested. And I guess I have to get through the beginning of Super Mystery Dungeon to see that, but I don't know.
And for me, for Pokemon Ranger, I think I've said it before, but I'm going to keep campaigning for this. I would love to see a main series Pokemon game that allows you to choose somewhere near the beginning whether you want to be a Pokemon trainer or a Pokemon Ranger, and then how you actually collect and manage your Pokemon throughout the rest of the game is done using either that mechanic or the other, and then also allow you to switch back and forth so you can kind of have the experience of both without having to completely reset your game. I just think that would be awesome. Like,
That'd
so
be interesting.
You're a region that's somewhere like between a trainer region and a ranger region, so that people like pick which they want to be in as their life path. That'd be awesome.
It would be cool. They've always, and I mean, it's first when I was hearing you say that, I was like, oh, they would never do that. But then again, I'm thinking about how in each game they have progressively encouraged well, I guess not really. I guess it hit its peak in Gen 3, but they always do sort of encourage the contest or musical or whatever variant of that is in each game. So I mean, the ranger aspect of it could be akin to that, but a little more fleshed out. So I guess it's not really out of the realm of possibility.
Anything is possible with dreams and imagination.
And there are Pokemon that are dream ones, like Darkrai.
And Musharna.
Darkrai.
Thanks for the input.
We got a bunch more emails, but we'll save those for next week. Again, if you want to write in, SBJ at PKMNcast.com or PokemonPodcast.com/contact. Either way, we'll get an email to myself. Let's move on to our Pokemon of the week, which is, I know for sure we have not done before, Aggron, the Iron Armor Pokemon. Travis will have a moveset here as I read some biology.
Read slow, because I need to make a moveset.
Well, I've got something to say, too, after you do your biology biz.
Thanks.
Okay. All right.
Stall.
Stall it out. There's a lot of big words here. This worries me. The gouges on Aggron's armor from previous battles are worn as mementos. The more wounds it has, the more it has battled. It claims a large mountain as its territory and fiercely defends it from trespassers. If its environment is damaged by a flood or forest fire, it will restore the area by bringing in topsoil and planting trees. It burrows through the strongest of bedrock and digs tunnels as it searches for iron to eat. Its horns, which it uses to dig through bedrock when seeking food, grow a little longer at a time and can be used to determine its age.
Like the rings on a tree.
When I said there was a lot of big words, I was referring to topsoil and bedrock.
I didn't even realize Aggron had a mega evolution. Wow.
Yep.
There's so many now, it's hard to keep track. No, I was gonna say that the first form, Aaron, whatever you want to call it, there is a competitive strategy that's not great, but like called the Fear strategy, FEAR, that Aaron was known for, where you put a focus sash on it, you use the move Endeavor, some other attack, and R stands for it's usually Rattata.
Focus Sash, Endeavor, Quick Attack. Rattata is usually it's usually a Rattata. Well, I mean, it was originally a Rattata, but Aaron is a lot better for it.
Yeah, so basically what you do with the Focus Sash, you can get Aaron down to 1 health and then use Endeavor, and that means your enemy is down to 1 health. And Quick Attack is okay for the next, right, to take off that 1 health point, but with Aaron, since it's immune to sandstorms and to poison, you could actually have a sandstorm going, and the sandstorm would take off that 1 last health HP from your enemy. So that's just an interesting trivia of Aaron. Now that's all the time I could solve for.
I got some more trivia if Travis needs more time.
I can go.
All right. all right. Cool.
We can build, well, as long as you're gonna allow me to do the mega evolution version of it.
Yeah, sure. I mean, if that's the most viable Aggron, that's what we want to give to people.
the only the finest of Aggrons. I forgot until making this set that Mega Aggron loses the rock type of Aggron. So I was originally thinking, Heavy Slam and Stone Edge for the stab, but actually, it loses the rock typing when it Mega evolves. So we're just going to do, the item's going to be Aggronite, obviously, to Mega Evolve. And then the set is going to be Stealth Rock, Heavy Slam, Thunder Wave, and Roar. This is going to be, as you can tell, a primarily defensive set that is therefore playing off Aggron's strengths. You're only going to do this if you have another Pokemon that's putting down some other type of hazard, because just Stealth Rock isn't quite enough to justify the Roar placement there. So if you're not running another Pokemon with spikes or sticky web or toxic spikes, then instead of Roar, you could do Stealth Rock, Heavy Slam, Thunder Wave, and Earthquake, perhaps. And then for EVs, we'll do 252 HP. And because its defense is already astronomically high at 230, we'll invest in special defense to make it survive some other hits. So 252 in special defense as well. The way you're going to use this set is you'll have another Pokemon set up your other entry hazard. You'll bring in Mega Aggron. Well, I guess Aggron if you haven't Mega Evolved it yet, but you'll bring in Aggron to take a hit, and then you'll set up Stealth Rocks. Hopefully it'll be able to do that. I mean, given how much bulk it has, it will most likely be able to. And if it's able to take another hit, you can start using Roar to get free damage on all of these Pokemon that switch in and impose some disadvantageous switches for your opponent. Thunder Wave is in there just because it's nice to have a status effect that you can throw out when you're expecting a switch in, maybe to a sweeper that would be disabled by something like Thunder Wave. And then Heavy Slam is in there just because the base attack, even if we're not investing it, the base attack of Mega Aggron's 140, so nothing to shake at, and especially considering how heavy Mega Aggron is, that Heavy Slam can hit pretty hard. So that's about the gist of it.
He has a sweet ability.
What's that?
I said he or she, I suppose, has a sweet ability. Filter?
Oh, yeah. Filter is pretty cool, yeah.
Reduces super effective damage by 1/4. A move that would deal ×2 damage would instead deal 1.5 times damage, and a move that would deal ×4 damage would deal instead 3 times damage.
That really helps with
one of 3 Pokemon that know it.
That really helps with the bulk too, because even if you're unlikely to switch, right, if your opponent has like a fire type Pokemon out. So you would be unlikely to switch into Mega Aggron in that case. But let's say you're against like a Pokemon that knows Flamethrower that is not a fire type Pokemon. You switch into Mega Aggron thinking you're going to be okay because its type isn't super effective against Mega Aggron. Even if your opponent predicts a switch into Mega Aggron and uses Flamethrower, because it's not getting the stab and Mega Aggron has Filter, it's not going to be as devastating as if it didn't. I mean, it's not a huge reduction in damage, but it's definitely significant.
Aggron is the only dual type Pokemon to lose a type upon Mega Evolution.
Yeah, that's why I was so surprised.
Said earlier. Mega Aggron is the only pure steel type Pokemon.
Is the only Michael Stipe Pokemon to ever frontman REM.
Only pure steel type Pokemon that is not genderless. Aggron is the heaviest rock type Pokemon. Mega Aggron is tied with Shuckle and Mega Steelix for the highest base stat defense of all Pokemon. And Mega Aggron is also tied with Mega Steelix for the highest single base stat of all Mega Evolved Pokemon, which I think in this case is defense. And not that much trivia. A shiny Aggron is like a turquoise instead of a gray.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty nice. I like that.
Yeah, it's not like that ugly green. Not that ugly green.
Well, that's our show.
That's everything. Travis is at the Travis W. I am at Dragging a Lake, and Will is at Wash in the Sink. Otherwise, you can find the podcast on Twitter at Pokemon Podcast. And if you haven't done so already, please review us in iTunes. And if you are an Android user and you like Google Play, we are now on Google Play Music. So that is another way to listen to the podcast if for some reason you are dissatisfied with your current podcasting app. Otherwise, this has been another episode of the Pokemon Podcast, and we are
Super effective.
For something or others.
I thought you were going to say
ball,
Super Alexa.
Super Alexa. Alexa, what is super?